I'm Bridget, and today I'm going to show you 3 art and craft things to do in your board. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be showing you is how to draw something that you're pretty familiar with and just with some lines. So I'm going to start out with some Sharpie and draw some nice like squiggly lines, I guess. And I'm just going to draw a few of those under each other. So I chose to draw was a flower because I'm pretty familiar with them and I draw them pretty often. Something pretty simple. Now I'm going to pick out my colors, and I chose pink for the petals. And then I'm choosing colors for the lines and flowers that go like well together. So I'm doing pink for the flowers, and then yellow middles, and as you'll see coming up, I'm going to do different shades of blue for the squiggle lines. So I'm taking my Tombow ones, my Tombow markers, and I'm just going to use those to cover. And I'm going to do like a dark to light kind of thing. So now I'm going to do my next color, which is like a kind of just like a normal blue. So I did like a navy, and I'm doing more of a normal blue. And I'm speeding it up because it did take a while. And I'm coloring over the lines because my desk is easy to wipe off. So I'm doing the lightest shade of blue. Okay, so there it is. So like I said earlier, I made sure that the pink and blue kind of go together. So those were the colors that I chose. There's the final product. Everyone's is probably going to turn out a little different unless you follow exactly what I did. Just because different kind of lines, different colors, different like I did flowers, you don't have to. And it doesn't have to look perfect. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to do a messy watercolor kind of like thing. It's kind of like galaxy-ish. I don't know really. So I just got my watercolor paper, and you probably want to use watercolor paper, not like printer paper, just because printer paper would be too thin. So on my paintbrush right now, I just have plain water. So I'm just gonna, you don't have to color the whole paper with water because it's gonna dry while you're doing one part. So I'm just starting by wetting just one part of the paper, a small little bit. I'm just gonna wet that pretty good. And see, like if I was doing this on normal paper, it would all be like, the whole paper would be doomed. And like seeping, this stuff's pretty thick. So now I'm gonna start by doing, getting some like watercolor, and it looks really cool. It like pops as you add it on. So I'm just gonna add a little watercolor into the water. And I'm just I picked like 3 colors I'm gonna do. I'm doing like blue, purple, some different shades. This is kind of like galaxy-ish, I guess. But it does look cool in the end. There's going to be some points where it looks really bad. It does look pretty cool in the end. And then also, I don't know why, but I left my paper on the giant pad. I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have whipped out the page. So if you do this, definitely whip out the page. Because all the pages under it, when it dripped, it kind of like ruined them. Okay, so I'm speeding it up. And I'm doing different shades of purple. Adding to it. Adding one more shade of blue. It kind of looks like the other blue though. Yep, and that's like once it dries, it kind of looks like that. So now I'm just adding more water to that to make it kind of expand a little more in spots I don't really like. You don't have to do that though. And then later I'm just gonna repeat this whole process on the whole paper. But first I'm just adding all this water and trying to get some parts I don't like to a point where I do like them. It doesn't take too long to dry, and doesn't have to be too completely dry, but I would recommend letting it dry a little, just that you can do this step where you can kind of like fix parts you don't like, because if it's wet, obviously you can't really do that. Okay, so I'm just going to speed it up again. So now I'm going to start doing another section, one right next to it. You don't have to one right next to it. I feel like right next to it isn't probably the best choice, but you do want all of them connect at some point like this. You can see how it's like dripping onto the pages underneath because I kept it on the pad, so you probably don't want to do that. Okay, and this is the dried version. As you can see, the pages under got a little splattered with purple. You also might want to like put stuff on the corners of it when it dries so it doesn't fold up like mine did. It does look pretty cool in the end. And the last thing I'm going to show you is kind of like crafty-off. So it's a bracelet. I don't know what it's called. I think it looks like a zipper almost. I'm just going to call it like the zipper bracelet. Like a zigzag bracelet. I don't know what the proper name is. So I've got 3 colors. You only need 2 colors. My colors are pink and yellow. I guess I could have done pink and blue. And then you should need 1 color in the middle of them. I'm cutting this out of frame, as you can see in my shadow. I'm just cut them all to a good length. It doesn't have to be too long, but you definitely want it to be like double. Like I should make mine a little shorter than arm's length. Arm's length makes it kind of difficult because you have a lot of excess, but I do like having excess just so I know I'm not going to run out of string. I'm just going to cut the other colors, and once I cut one, I just use the other one and cut them the length of that original one, so they're all equal. Because if I do about arm's length, they're all going to be a little different. Okay, now I'm going to try and do the yellow and cut it about the length of all the other ones. So they're not exactly perfect, because mine are not. Just make sure they're in the general same area as each other and they're pretty close. So now I'm just going to lie them out in the right order. So mine's going to be pink, and then on the opposite side of the pink I'm going to yellow. Then I'm going to big space between, and I'm going to line up my blue, which is my middle color, which I'm not actually going to see except in the knot. So, I mean, you could do any color in the middle. It doesn't matter too much because you're not really going to see it. Okay, so now I'm getting my tape. You can use tape or clipboard. I recommend using a clipboard because my tape kept on falling off. And I eventually did switch to clipboard. But, so if you have a clipboard, do that. But if you don't have a clipboard, just do tape. It's totally fine. A little more challenging. So I'm going to try and tie a knot, trying to keep them in the right order, which for me is pink, blue, yellow. But this knot totally failed because the pink did not make it in the knot. You want all the colors to make it in the knot. So I undo this knot and redo it. Alright, so now I'm doing the knot again. I'm redoing it. This time all the colors actually got in. It was successful. I'm going to organize the colors, make sure that they are still in the right order, even though I made them into a knot. So I'm going to, okay, so I lied them out, and I'm doing a 4 with the pink, and then I'm going to hold the blue tight while I pull it the pink. And then as you can see, it did fall off the tape, so I definitely recommend using the clipboard and not tape. A little more simple. That's fine. Gonna try and get it back on the tape and try and get it a little sturdier this time. I have 2 pieces of tape on top instead of just 1. Now for the yellow, I'm gonna do a backwards 4 and do the same steps as a backwards 4. Same steps I did with pink as a backwards 4, not a forwards 4. I'm just gonna keep repeating pink, yellow, pink, yellow, and so on. Okay, so now I'm just going to do the 4 again. As you can see, keep repeating these steps over and over. Keep repeating. And see, I'm really trying to pull hard until you get to work. until I get a little closer. As you can see, I just moved it onto a clipboard because it's a little easier. And every time I complete a few strands, I just move it up on the clipboard because it's much easier than keeping it at the knot the whole time. Unless I guess that's what you want to do. That's not what I would do because it makes it a little more complicated. So I would just do it like this, clipboard, easy. I just painted this clipboard a while ago. You can use any clipboard you have, and you can use a mini clipboard if that's what you have. Anything really works. Now my strands are getting really, really tiny. As you can see, they're getting much smaller than they were before. Okay. Now on the last one, take it off the clipboard. Make sure it's good size.
You can tell where you've blown off and
put it back on. And then go here. For the final thing, I just need to tie this end off.
Ah, yes.
And I'm just going to make another knot, and this time hopefully successfully on the first try. Yep, there we go. And I'm not making the knot white where the actual bracelet ends. And a little plain string between. You don't have to, that's what I did. I just need to cut off those extra ends. Like so. And then there's the final thing. It looks a little wonky at some parts. The more you do it, the better you get. And like I said earlier, it's kind of like a zipper, half and half kind of thing. I think it looks really cool. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the 3 art and craft activities that I showed you. And I hope you enjoyed yourself. And I hope you're not bored anymore because now you have fun activities and ideas to do.